Hello, everyone. This is Sean Smith, and you are tuned in to the Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. The podcast that will connect you to resources regionally and nationwide to engage them and you in open, honest discussions so that we can inspire the growth that you need to chase the experience you want. So strap yourself in because here we go. Hello, everyone. This is Sean Smith of Country Fried Outdoors Chasing Your Experience podcast. Today, I am sitting by myself to discuss what I did over the weekend. And over the weekend, it was my first time going down to Columbus to the state fairgrounds to the, I guess what's called now the Open Season Sportsman Expo, which is, it travels around to a couple different states, and Ohio happens to be one of its spots. And I've been to like SHOT Show before, so I've been to kind of on the floor of like a big expo like this before, but it was my first time going to this one. And as you know, I took the kids down, let them run amok. By run amok, mean be respectful, go check out things that you're interested in, and check-ins on the phone to make sure that no one gets lost. And I went around and talked and shook hands with a couple of the exhibitors and manufacturers that was there. And while I was doing that, I kind of came across a handful of ideas, products, and maybe just some resources that would be good for the everyday average outdoorsman. And I wanted to highlight some of them here. And good news is that a lot of them have unofficially agreed to kind of talk with me on the podcast. So there's going to be a series of episodes coming up here in the near future. I don't know exactly when. We haven't recorded them yet, and we're still working out details, obviously. But in the near future, we'll be sitting down with at least probably a half a dozen, 4 or 5 of these manufacturers to kind of discuss their products and kind of get them highlighted a little bit. But today I'm just going to kind of do a very high overview of some of the products that are out there. The number one that kind of caught my eye and that would be beneficial, that I could see a use for them, and maybe just highlight some of the local area people that are, grinding and making products that have meaning behind them, right? It's not just entering into a market, because let's be honest, the market is in the outdoors industry for the amount of people who are involved in it, who actively engage in it. It could be a bit saturated in certain things. So getting a product to market and being successful in today's world, including podcasts like mine, which, we're growing, and I appreciate everyone's support, and I definitely appreciate the manufacturers who agreed to come talk to us, but it can be hard to get things off the ground. And I think anything that we as a community can do to help each other out, especially if you believe in their cause and believe in their product, and they offer a product that doesn't necessarily solve a problem, because that's what a lot of people think. Like, let's get a product that's going to solve a problem. And the issue is that sometimes we create problems to solve with our products. So I don't want to highlight things that like solve fake problems. And hopefully that comes across when I talk about this. Yeah, so this episode is just simply going to be me sitting and talking about these manufacturers or these products, I should say, at least, not so much about the manufacturers, because they're going to be coming on to discuss a lot about themselves. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. And if you guys have not been to the Ohio Sportsman Show, or I'm sorry, not the Ohio Sportsman Show, let me do that. The Open Season Sportsman's Expo. Well, like I said, it is down in Columbus at the state fairgrounds. It was held during St. Paddy's Day weekend this year. So it started Friday the 15th, ran Saturday the 16th, and today, which is St. Patrick's Day, Sunday the 17th of March is their last day. Tickets were really affordable. Pre-sale tickets was like $10. So I bought half a dozen of them and took down my kids and a couple of their friends, and had a good time. They got to meet some of the some of the names in the industry and so on, and just along those lines. It was just a good time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the experience meeting some of these companies and stuff, and highlight some of them. So first and foremost, like the whole layout was good. Like it was a great show. There was a lot of people there Saturday. It took a little bit to get in to the parking area, but once you found a spot, it wasn't overly hard to get. The building, which was held in the Bricker building there at the Ohio State Fairgrounds, it was actually a decent size. Like looking from the outside, like I wonder how much they actually fit in here. And then you get inside and like, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here, and they had it set up pretty good. The aisleways were plenty of room to walk through, but yet there was a lot of exhibitors that was in there. They had a lot of larger items. Looked like a local Toyota dealer had brought in a lot of their line of the newer vehicles that would be geared towards the sportsmen. It's like the Forerunners and the Tacomas and the Tundras and stuff like that. So, and I couldn't tell you the amount of exhibitors that was there, but there was a lot. And I walked through. There was a lot of outfitters there too as well. Guide services for like out-of-state hunts, some in-state, and quite a few for safari-style hunts over in Africa. So, it really covered almost everyone's kind of cup of tea. Like if you're interested in doing these things, and if you didn't make it this year, definitely look into going next year when it cycles back around. It's definitely worth the time to go down. Good food court set up. We ended up packing our lunches and stuff with us, which we kept in the cooler out in the truck. And when we were done, we went out. Well, actually, when we first got there, we ate and then went in, walked around, came back out, ate again when we left. So, but yeah, there was cool food court for you guys and gals out there who like to partake upon a little malted beverage while you're conducting business. Remember, do so safely. But they did offer some malted beverages there that you could purchase. It was a good time. It was a good event. So I want to go down through a list of products or companies that I came across. All of them actually were from a local area per se. Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Ohio was where most of these companies were out of, and highlight some of the products that I found. So coming up first, this is going to be Cluck Custom Calls. Cluck is spelled K-L-U-K. So they're kind of like me in running Country Fried Outdoors with a K. They spelled Cluck with a K. So this is a veteran-owned company, and both of the owners were there. So the idea behind them, obviously, they have turkey calls, which is what they highlighted a lot in. And if you go to their website, which all the links to the websites will be in the description for the show. So if you guys would want to see a little bit more about these products, please make sure you check out their websites. And most of them have social media accounts, so check them out on Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. But when you go on the website and you look at them or you read about them, like their heart is in turkey hunting, right? And they've got turkey hunting calls, they have predator hunting calls, and they have a grunt tube for deer hunting right now. I'm sure the product line is probably going to expand over time. But these two guys, the two guys that run it, they are veterans of the U.S. Uniformed Services. They are really about getting people involved. And I think one of the good selling points for them is that they have these starter packs where you can select a cut, right? But they offer in 3 different stretches, a low, a medium, and a high. And I was talking to one of the guys there at the booth. I said, listen, I've tried a lot of turkey calls, and I squeak an awful lot with them. Like there's only a certain call, that I found so far that I can actually make realistic turkey sounds with, and I can get that rasp that I'm looking for. And he kind of explained, well, most of the problem that it sounds like when you run into like a squeaking issue is because of the stretch of the latex, and it might be a little bit too tight for what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish. And he's like, so this is why, we offer this product line that you get a 3-pack, and it's a certain, you select a cut, and he kind of, he obviously he has his preference of cuts, but they have, like a bat wing, they have a multi-cut. There's a lot of different cuts that are available. And he's like, well, you select your cut, and then we offer a 3, like a 3 reed or 3 diaphragm call package that covers all 3 of those stretches. So from low, medium to high. So you can play around with those calls to see which one fits you better. And then once you figure out what stretch works best for you, then obviously you can go and buy, more calls in that certain stretch, which that's actually a great idea because if I always go back to Primos. So I've used Primos calls, and, they have a signature series, that was a little bit more pricier for them of their diaphragm calls. And you're like, oh, here's the bat wing cut, here's this cut, here's that cut. But they don't really tell you about what type of stretch it was. And, these are supposed to be premium calls or great calls. So when I get them and I start trying to use them, I can't make any sounds besides a squeak. I might get a key out of them, but yelping, it's a high pitch yelp, does not sound anything like a turkey, right? So then I found some of their lower end calls from Primos, and those are the ones that I can actually blow really well and make turkey sounds with. So I can see where having the ability to test some of these out. Now, obviously, you're paying for them, and I think it's like $30 for a 3-pack. Test these out to find out which stretch works best for you, and then, dive in on them. So definitely worth checking out. And I hope that in the near future, we'll be able to sit down with these young men and get a little bit more of their story and stuff as they go out. So definitely worth checking out. Once again, it's Cluck with a K. They're out of Pennsylvania. Check them out, especially if you're a turkey hunter, because turkey season is just right around the corner here in Ohio. The next one that I wanted to touch on was a company called Uncle Stubbs Outdoors. A lot of people are like me today. They spell it with a K. It's UNKLE, and it's Stubbs, STUBBS Outdoors. They're based out of Michigan, and I think their product, and if you're going to ask me what I would see their product being for, is more the mobile guy or someone who wants to pack light, because they have a drag strap for deer. It's a kind of a cool design. And the way it works is that obviously it's a drag strap, right? So there's a you're going to girth hitch it around, either a neck, an antler, or a leg, or whatever. And then at the end where you hold on to is there's a hard plastic handle that you can actually grab a hold of. And then the nylon strap kind of wraps around your hand, and then you can cinch it tight. Like, it doesn't like bind up, it doesn't pinch, it doesn't feel like you're cutting the circulation off your hand. It's just a nice firm grip on your hand, so you feel like it's not going to slide off. And it takes a lot of the weight, a lot of the pressure off of your fingers. It's trying to hold on to the drag strap. And as the owner, Dan, was explaining to me, he's like, it kind of becomes like a part of your arm, like it's just an extension of your arm at this point. You basically you hook up with this and you drag, and it actually makes dragging a lot easier. And he kind of explained, because he's got a demo there to where there's a heavy bag laying on the floor that he has like a chain and then a round wooden dowel that's about as thick as, trying to think about how thick, a good explanation of how thick this was. Try to think about maybe the width or the thickness of a decent deer antler, or like a leg on a deer, right? That you grab a hold of, and then he has you drag it. Now, of course, you're going to be able to drag it, but there's a little bit of effort that goes into it. Like, it's not comfortable. It's a little different. And he's like, here, try this with the strap now. And then you tried it, and it's like, huh. There was a significant difference. Now, just the strap alone, that was cool, right? But here's the thing. Then part of that strap, there is a section to where you can attach, there's a little eyelet, sewn in eye, that you can girth hitch another one of the deer drags, right, to that. So then you and a partner can drag together. Now, here's the kick. Here's the kick that I really liked about this, was that if you've ever drug a deer with another person, right, what's one of the biggest problems that you have? I guarantee you it's trying to figure out which way you're going to go, or you come up to, on your path, you come up to, I guess, I don't want to call it an intersection, but you come to an obstruction that is in the middle of the way you want to go, and that you technically end up trying to split it, but you can't, obviously, because you're dragging a deer. Listen to this. This allows you, the length of it and the way it works out allows you to walk in line with each other, and you're both equally dragging, using your your horsepower, quote unquote horsepower, to drag this deer. So you're in line so that you guys can stay on a narrow path and drag together without worrying about trying to, which way do we go when it comes to when you have to make a quote unquote split decision, which that was really cool. And it's all it is it's a strap, and it packs down way smaller. I mean, it fits in the palm of your hand, and you could get both of those to fit in the palm of your hand, and that would be great for a saddle hunter. It'd be great for, even if you just buy two. Any event that you are by yourself, that's fine. But if someone else is there to help, you both can hook up and roll. Or if your buddy has one, you guys can hook up to each other and go. And to be honest with you, I think you could probably chain more than just two people to it. He didn't demo that there, but I guess if like three of you, can you imagine how easy it would be with three of you or four of you that has this strap that's attached? You got this train of your if you and your friends dragging this deer out. That would be extremely easy and probably a bit overkill, but imagine that, how easy it would be. Now, if you think that's cool, they do have a clean carry, what they call it, with a carry strap, which is meant for turkey. So the bag wraps around the turkey, and then you have a strap that kind of wraps around like the legs of the bird. So you just stay clean as you're carrying your bird out. You don't end up. Hopefully, it keeps you from getting mites and ticks and stuff that might be on the bird, or just the blood or dirt from the bird all over you as you're trying to carry it out of the woods. I thought it was a kind of cool idea. But now make this extra large size, and that you can throw your deer into now, right? Or at least most of your deer in. And that strap that they have, the drag strap that they have, there's a hole in this bag that you can, thread, we'll just say thread the drag strap through, attach it to the deer. The deer is inside the bag, and then you drag the deer and the bag out, which kind of takes the place of a sled, which, will help reduce the amount of force. Obviously it's going to reduce the resistance of the deer on the ground and help make the drag a little bit easier for you. So definitely, I am really interested in this product and kind of the design behind it. I do have questions regarding the durability of the bag. It is extremely light and it's very packable. Like, you easily could fit this entire system into your pack. Or if you have the tethered, like what used to be called the lockdown saddle, they had to change the name because I guess it's a trademark issue. And it's for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the saddle, but it's got those huge pockets on it. You could essentially pack these in one of those pockets and still have room. Like, it packs down super light. And I think it'd be a great addition to those guys that like to get in deep, but don't want to carry a lot of stuff with them. Or you traditionally would have to walk back to your truck, grab like a cart or a sled, and then walk back to your animal to drag it out. I think this is a great alternative to that. And I'm not saying when I said I'm worried about the durability, like I'm not worried about it. I'm interested to see how long that lasts. But I like I said, I'm not worried about it. I think it would work out for you, but I bet you, I would say you'd probably get at least one good season out of it. Like, and when I say one good season, multiple deer, and you'll probably get more than that. It might last you for a life. I don't know. I'm talking on something I don't know about, but it's definitely worth looking into if you're that type of hunter, or if you're just trying to reduce the amount of bulk, or you hunt a lot by yourself, or every now and again a friend shows up to help you. Like, I've had those situations where someone's helped me drag a deer out, and you come to like a small tree or small sapling that basically, gets in the way. Heck, it just happened this past year. Come across a small tree, and you guys have to make a decision which way you're going to go, which ends up usually being one guy dragging by themselves until you get around the obstruction, and then the other guy jumps in. So I like the idea, and I hope that we'll be able to talk a little bit more with Uncle Stubbs, with the guys from there on the podcast, on their own episode, to kind of talk a little bit about themselves and stuff. So check those guys out. Once again, link will be in the show description. Now, here's one. This is actually what really started my interest. This is like one of the first exhibitors I actually talked to. And this is Bonafide Targets out of Michigan. And Bonafide is spelled like bow, like a bow and arrow. POWNAFIDE Targets. And they're out of Michigan. And here's the idea behind these targets, and here's what caught my eye. They do photorealistic prints on so it's a 2D target on a very, it's not very thick. Like it's maybe 5 to 6 inches thick, and it's double-sided printed so that you get the target on both sides of this really lightweight foam. And if I remember correctly, they were explaining there's a type of Kevlar blend that is sandwiched between the two layers of foam that the arrow absolutely will not penetrate through. Like it stops it halfway through. So you get two sides of a target to shoot through. And they come in various sizes, all from like a small rabbit printed onto it to like a full size moose printed onto this. Like it could be a huge target, right? But here's the thing: even though this target is huge, and I'm trying to think of, we're talking like 4 foot by 3 foot, 5 foot by 4 foot, like the huge targets. They're super light, super light. Like you could pick even the largest target up with one hand without a problem. And they have a lot of different options that are available to you as a target face, or you can get other target faces to put on there on one of the targets. And so here, the question of durability came out, right? And I'm looking at this target. I'm like, dude, this is great. It's lightweight, but how long is it going to last? Especially like a photorealistic target, to where obviously you're going to be focused on like a certain area of the target, right? Because I really see, so in my mind, where I think this would be beneficial, right, is when I'm practicing to go on an out west hunt or something, I like to go practice hike, and along my route, I like to set up targets and shoot those targets, right? Now, a 3D target, everyone knows a 3D target. They can be heavy, especially if you start getting into like the elk targets or the deer or the larger targets. They can be a bit heavy, and you're not moving them by yourself, right? Or if you are, it's in pieces. These ones you move by yourself. Like they're so super light. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the 3D targets. They're great. It's just it's a bit more of a challenge to move those around. I could you could get a couple of these, set those up along your path, and to be honest with you, you can just leave them out. Like according to the company, they are waterproof, weather resistant. They don't fade in UV like other 3D foam targets do. Right? They don't fade. And they last for tens of thousands of shots. This is coming from obviously the company themselves, and they had a big target there that was their demo target to kind of show what the durability and kind of show the target off. This is huge, but it was a big dartboard, and they're like, this target's been out for at least 3 to 5 years, left out, not brought in out of the weather, just left out, and it has, at least on one side, 25,000 plus shots in it, and it's still stopping arrows. Now, remember, this is not 25,000 arrows shot into a concentrated area like the size of a deer heart, right? This is spread throughout the target, but 25,000 shots is a lot of arrows to take. And they do offer options to help you kind of work through the target face, so it's not just one concentrated area. You can buy smaller target faces that to put on there. To shoot at, maybe a smaller 3-spot, something along those lines, to kind of help spread out your concentration of arrows that help make the target last longer. Definitely worth looking at if you're looking for targets. If you just want some targets that you can set out and just practice with, and just leave them out, and don't have to worry about moving them in and out all the time without them deteriorating out in the weather. I have not personally have dealt with those targets myself. This is the first time I've seen them. But if the claims of the company are 100% true, like this is a great target. It's extremely portable and definitely worthwhile, especially those guys, that would like to try some type of adventure style hike, training for a adventure style hunt or something, or just simply have a couple of them in your backyard and just leave them out so you don't have to keep moving them all the time. So definitely check those out. Now, the next company that was kind of a highlight for me, newer company. And most of these companies, they're newer. Like they've only been in existence for like 1, maybe 2 years. Like none of them are well-established companies, right? Not because I don't trust the well-established. I mean, Matthews, I shoot at Matthews. Like that's not the point, right? These are new upcomers that have products that I think are beneficial to us as outdoorsmen. And so this next one is exactly that. And this company was called Scrape Doctor. And here's what they do. They help you create mock scrapes with their products, and all it is a hand tied rope, and it comes in three different lengths, right? That has a synthetic ivy sewn into it or kind of weaved into it. And so they have three different lengths depending upon the type of trees that you're dealing with. They have and then they also have what they call the tree, which is that material that is formed into almost like a shepherd's hook that you can place into the ground in case you don't have any trees around, like you're looking at a field edge or a field that you want to just put a mock scrape in, that's available to you. It's made out of a lot of, obviously the ivy is not a quote unquote natural material, but the rope is made of a natural fibrous, and it is weather resistant and meant to last. Now, obviously you can find your own favorite mock scrape scent to put on there, but they have their own formulated mock scrape scent that was supposed to be from the preorbital glands. But when I say from, it's actually a fully synthetic preorbital gland scent that they have created. If you know anything about, kind of the trends in the outdoor world, CWD is a big debated topic. And a lot of states that have a CWD presence or a large CWD presence does not allow natural deer lures, so like natural deer urine, to be used. There's been a recent surge of synthetic scents out there. This is one of those scents, which obviously you need to check with your rules and regulations about what you can and cannot do hunting. But in the event that your state is one of those synthetic states, this will work there, right? Or it will work in states that do still allow natural scents. It is not an overpowering scent, which is great, but the owner was there, who does most of the creation of the products, right? He was explaining, it's like, listen, this is one of those things that you hang up, you spray this scent, this mock scrape starter on it, and you just let it go. And they said in about 17 hours, you'll start to see an increase. And this is on average of about 17 hours. Could be a little less, could be a little more, but on average of about 17 hours, you're going to get your first few visitors will visit this mock scrape and then continue it on. That's it. Like you don't have to do anything else. The deer are going to be doing the rest for you. But like they said, you could every about 6 to 8 weeks, go out and refresh it with the mock scrape scent. But they're like, the deer are doing it for you, right? They're visiting it, they're leaving their scent there, right? And you're not, right? You created this licking branch for them, and that was their big thing. Like most of the mock scrapes that people think about when it comes to mock scrape is the actual paw pattern or the spot on the earth that the deer kicked up. Like in reality, what it really is the licking branch. That's what it's really about. So basically, you're creating this licking branch artificially, and the deer, does, bucks, love it. These guys, I liked the product. I liked the idea. I liked who they were. Smart, small company, good hearts, good intentions, wanting to provide a product that's not necessarily fixing a problem, because there's obviously there's a lot of mock scrapes out there. So the world, there's a lot of mock scrape products out there. So it's not like they're fixing a problem. They're offering a good solution or an alternative solution to people. And once again, I'm not going to sit here and talk a lot about their products without them being here. I'm just introducing you to the products, but you can check them out. Once again, any links will be available in the show description. So definitely check them out. One of the next ones that I want to highlight, this is a local guy, actually from my local area, out of the Canton, Ohio area. And, I was walking along and I've seen this logo before. I've seen it before somewhere. And I've never really looked into it because, I have the brand that I tend to use, which is Dead Downwind when it comes to this. And so, you know what? I seen the booth sitting there. The owner, Michael, was sitting there. And so I'm like, I'll walk up. And it's a cover scent company, scent elimination cover scent. But here's the deal, right? Nostalgia in me, and this is me personally, and I'm sure other people might agree with this and other people disagree with this. We all have our different philosophies when it comes to this topic. But the nostalgia in me when I first started hunting was that I used fresh earth cover scent from Hunter Specialties. Used it, loved it. I've threw leaves in my scent free in my garbage bags with my clothes in them after they've been washed, just to keep that fresh earth scent going, make it a little bit more realistic. There's a lot of things I used to do in my early years of hunting that I was learning from other people. And then, some companies came out with their fresh earth smells and stuff like that. So Dead Downwind, I use their natural woods scent, right? I get it in anything that's available, from their clothing wash to their dryer sheets and the field spray, right? And I know, a lot of people I'd rather be unscented, but for me, it's like a nostalgia thing. I like it. It's just something that I have to do. I walk up and we say hello to each other, I ask him about the product and he's kind of talking about it, and sitting in front of me is a bar soap. I don't know if any of you've seen that Dr. Squatch, that kind of natural type soap. There's this bar of soap sitting here, which is part of their product line. So I pick it up, take a big whiff of it, and just a rush of nostalgia just kind of rushed over me. The scent that they use is a combination of pine and fresh earth. And it's formulated, they formulated themselves, right? If I was going to describe my perfect scent for the woods, it's a scent that Scent Armor uses. And this is throughout their entire product line. Their body wash, shampoo, conditioner, cover, field spray, body lotion, lip balm. And they have the body wash comes in both a gel and also a bar soap that is, goat milk based. Their big focus was that they try to keep it as natural as possible, just fillers that no one really wants. And that was it's between him and his wife who really work on the formulations of the soap and stuff. And that was their big goal. And that was her big goal, was to find a formulation that was not a lot of synthetic chemicals and stuff in it. I'm talking to him, right? And I said, listen, this is great. I like this product. I really like the smell of it. It's nostalgia to me. This is a natural scent, with baking soda, activated charcoal to kind of help reduce your scent signature, and then replace it with their base scent, and it's in all their products. Man, this is this is what I'm looking for, right? With a scent. And if you go to their website, that is exactly the goal that they were trying to accomplish with their scent when they developed it. They were looking for a familiar scent to outdoorsmen, to hunters, and they nailed it. And I looked at him, I said, dude, I'm sold if you have a laundry detergent. And he looked at me, he's like, it's coming. I promise you it's coming. This year, we just finished trying to find the right suspension agent for us. It's coming. And I walked away with the hunter's package there that day. I spent $40, got their hunter's package with them. I'm looking forward to the release of their laundry detergent, because I understand that some people are I don't want my clothes to smell like anything. I prefer this, I prefer that. And I get that, right? That's why all these different companies exist. But if you're like me and you are looking for that scent that just smells like the woods, just clean woods, not fox urine, not raccoon urine, just the smell of ozone, which, by the way, has a smell. It has kind of a chlorine-y type smell to it, right? Ozone. So if you're going to be using something that has a smell to it anyways, why not use something that's familiar to the woods or familiar to you? And that's exactly what I found in Scent Armor, is that just that familiar smell of just the woods. They nailed it. And I'm looking forward to having Mike on the podcast in the near future to kind of explain a little bit of history about the product. But it's definitely something to look into. So the next one that I want to kind of feature, and this is definitely a saturated market, is arrows. And I'm walking along and I see a booth called Warhead Arrow Company. All right. You have my attention. Let's talk. So I sit and I meet Gerald Bennett, who is the owner of the company, and he's there at the booth. And I start talking to him and say, "So, Gerald, what's going on with your products?" And he's like, "Well, first and foremost, we're based out of Ironton, Ohio, which they're a local company. Ironton down in Lawrence County." I'm like, "Lawrence County? I make a trip down that way every year for the most part for either we do a turkey hunt or a deer hunt, and we camp out, and we have a lot of good times. More so, it might be more of a glorified camping trip than is anything else, but we have a great time down there." And so we start talking. I'm like, "All right, so tell me about your product. What do you got going on here?" So he has a narrow line that covers. They have a 246 inner diameter, 204, a 166, and a 23 target arrow. Right. So, I think price point is where these guys where they fill in a good niche, right? So you can get a dozen of their arrows, regardless of whatever spine you're looking, regardless of spine, whatever you're looking for, whether it is the 204, the 166, or the 246, for about $150 of bare shafts, right? Now, here's the thing. They have a component system that is theirs, and it's actually milled here locally in Ohio, especially their stainless steel. And the stainless steel is especially in the 166, almost, to be honest with you, like it's got a long insert that that kind of goes deep into the arrow. And I can't tell you exactly how long, but it's an insert and a collar system that is stainless steel that goes on the 166. The 204 has a stainless steel insert that has an aluminum collar on it. And I think that the 166, if I remember correctly, also has like an aluminum component as well, which aluminum insert with an aluminum collar. If you've listened to previous podcasts, you kind of know my thoughts. So I'm not going to sit and say anything else on that. But they do have the options that are available to you for that. They use AAE Nox for their arrows, and they also offer them with AAE vanes, and I think there's also blazer vanes that are available too. But they have a good partnership with the AAE. They source their carbon from Mitsubishi, which is, if you know anything about carbon arrows, that's where most people get their carbon from, is from Mitsubishi there in Korea. And Easton does their own. Obviously, they create their own. They extrude their own here in the States. But most other companies are getting their carbon from one of very, very few manufacturers. And typically, it's Mitsubishi. So is where their carbon comes from. So their arrows, they are not light arrows. In the market, the 166s, their 250 spine, I think, is close to 12 grains per inch. Their 300 is around 10 grains per inch. So they're not a light arrow, but it does appear to be durable. And the reason I'm highlighting these guys is because they're a local company from Ohio, right? They're from Ironton, Ohio, which is not in my back door like Scent Armor, but they're a local company. And they have a good product line. Now, here's the thing. Well, if you ask about straightness, here's what they'll tell you. There's one straightness. And it's a range of 0.003 to 0.001. That's honestly, that's good enough, right? Because I'm going to give you my previous experience. I bought, Victory arrows, right? You can buy the same arrow. So let's just focus on the Rip TKO, right? You can buy either the Gamer, the Sportsman, which hopefully I'm right on that, and then the Elite from them. The difference in those arrows is the straightness tolerance. So 0.006, 0.003, 0.001 is the straightness you get. The Elite obviously is the 0.001. And there is a significant price difference between the three. The 0.006 sorted is cheaper than, obviously, and is significantly cheaper than the 0.001 sorted arrows. Here's what I found out. First and foremost, labels don't mean shit, right? They don't mean anything. They don't They don't mean that's the middle of the arrow. They don't mean anything. They're just how they get printed on there. Now, I will say with Victory, they label theirs to show where their spine is. So they digitally find the spine of the arrow for you, and they label that. If you believe in that, that's fine. If not, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. So that's the only thing that is important about their label. That's it. And that's all the carbon manufacturers. That label, that's it. It's just a label. It's just markings. So if you take that arrow and you spin it, right? And then as you spin it before you cut it, you kind of see what side might be a little bit more wobbly than the other. You hack that off. And guess what? You got a straight arrow. You end up with a straight arrow if you get rid of whatever the wobbly side is. It doesn't fix them all, right? You might have to take a little bit off each side. So you might have to do a little bit of math to get it down to like whatever your length is. But you most of them come about a 32-inch arrow. I'm cutting them down to 28.5 for my setup. You're losing 3 or 4, about 3 inches of arrow. And guess what? I shot those .006s as good, if not better, than the .001s. Same arrow, just different straightness. I think what's more important is that you get a consistent spine. And so they got a consistent spine, you're rolling with it. Don't get too caught up in that .003 or .001 argument. So that's how they sort those, is that it's you're going to get a range, which basically I guess you could probably say that it's going to be a .003 arrow. Like if you want to make an argument there, then it's a .003. Because, when you buy .003 arrows, it doesn't mean all of them are that 3/1000ths of an inch, right, of straightness, right? Some of them might be a .001. Some might be a .003. What the idea is that, they're going to be, that's the tolerance that they're sorted to. So there shouldn't be any .006 in that batch that you bought. But you very well could end up with a bunch of .001s with 1 or 2 .003s. That's just how that works out. And here's the thing that I think I really like about this company, and that you could buy a 3-pack of shafts, just a 3-pack with the inserts. So if you want to test them out, right, you don't have to buy a full 6-pack. And you can get on there and buy, I think a 3-pack was like 30 some bucks for 3 arrows. So they're not overly expensive. So I get those 3 arrows, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I am going to buy a 3-pack of what they call their Tomahawk, which is their 166, just to test it out, to see if I like it. And, it is significantly heavier than what I'm using now, so it's going to change my sight marks a little bit, but I favor a heavy arrow over a lighter arrow anyways. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But you can get on their website, order like a 3-pack, just to see if this is going to work out for you. Go to Easton. Can you get 3 arrows from them? No, it's 6. And most times the 6 are fletched already. You can get a 3-pack of shafts from these guys. Heck, there was a time that Lancaster Archery Supply, you used to be able to go in there and buy like a single arrow. You can't do that anymore. You're either going to buy 6 fletched or a whole dozen arrows. And if you're not sure what arrow you want to use yet, that could be a waste of time and money. So I kind of like this idea. I think that's to me one of the big selling points for this company, is that you can buy 3 of the arrows, spend $30, see if it's going to work out for you, instead of having to buy 6 or a dozen. If it does, you can go back and buy your dozen. Now you got 15 arrows. You got your 6. You can get 6 of your best flyers to put in your quiver that you don't shoot until it's time to hunt, so they stay fresh. Then you got 9 to play around with in the backyard or go to 3D shoots with. So, and I don't know much about the target world. I don't shoot professional. I don't shoot target archery. If I do, when I go to a 3D shoot, I shoot the arrows I'm going to hunt with, because I'm practicing for that, right? And I tend to do okay. So I can't really talk in the 23 arrows. Once again, they are sorted to that 3,000s to 1,000s. It's a range, right? You don't go in there and buy, all right, I want the 3,000s. No, it's that range that they claim. But dude, definitely worth checking out, especially if you want to see, first and foremost, if you're from Ohio, you want to support a local company. There is your ticket to support a local company. And they're small. Down in Ironton, I think there might be some association to Mike's Archery Supply down there in Ironton. So I really seriously check them out. And I'm going to get online and order 3 of the Tomahawks. I might do They're 204s. Might order 3 of them just to see, if which one I like better. They have their own lighted nocks. I don't know where they source them from. I can't tell you if it's like a nocturnal knock that's branded for them. I can't tell you if it's a halo knock that's branded to them. I don't know, right? I just know it's their own branded knocks that they use that are lighted knocks. And they don't have them in the 166. They have them for the 204. They have them for the 246. I don't know. But anyways, Gerald, hopefully have him on the podcast, or somebody from Warhead Aero Company on the podcast here in an upcoming episode to kind of explain a little bit more about them. But in the meantime, once again, link is in the description to warheadaerocompany.com. And go check those out. Like I said, they have a 246, a 204, a 166, and a 23, which is your target arrow. And to be honest with you, when I asked Gerald, I said, Gerald, be honest with me, what separates your arrows from the rest of the market? He goes, to be honest with you, it's really about the price point and where we come in with the quality you get and the price point that you're getting at that. And I will add one more to that, is also the fact that you can buy a pack to test with, like a 3 arrow pack to test with. There's a few other companies that do something like that, like day 6 arrows. You can buy like a single or a couple, like a tester pack of like 2 different spines and configurations to see which works best for you. And so I like that idea, especially with something that might be more of a direct to consumer. Because why spend money on a dozen arrows if that's not even going to work out for you? And then you're forced to do that. So kudos to you, Warhead Aero Company, for that. All right. The next one that I want to kind of highlight really isn't just like based in the outdoors world, right? They're more of a tech storage company and what they offer. And listen, guys, I know most of you run multiple trail cams. If you're getting into the filming aspect of it, you got maybe 1 or 2 different cameras that you're using, and they all use SD cards. So you're going to need some type of an SD card to work with these cameras. And if you're running multiple cameras, you got multiple SD cards, which if you go to like a Walmart, a Best Buy, or somewhere, like, you're paying a good price, especially if you're buying stuff that you can film on, especially 4K. You're looking anywhere between $20 to $30 somewhere on there for a SD card. This is where this next one comes in. Their initials are EBS, which stands for everything but Stromboli. And they are a wholesaler basically of SD cards. And look them up. And I'm not going to go to, they're SD cards. That's what it is. But why you should look them up is that they're SD cards, and they're scan disc. They're not their own branded SD cards. They are like brand name, like scan disc, like those type of SD cards for a fraction of the cost that everyone else is selling them at. When I asked, I said, listen, what's the trade secret then? Like, you don't have to share if you don't want to. And like, it's because we buy a crap ton of cards at a time. So we get huge discounts. And so we pass them on to you as the consumer. He's like, we do sell wholesale to larger retail, to, obviously larger companies, but we also sell to the little guy at the same price. At almost but the same rate, right? And the more you buy, the more of a discount you get, just like any other wholesaler, right? The more you buy, the more of a discount. But even buying a single is still a fraction of the cost of buying it from another retailer somewhere. So definitely check them out. Like I said, it's EBS, but it's everything but Stromboli. Check those guys out. All right. Now, I do have a couple things left on the list of things I want to talk about. So this past year was the first time I've done a Euro mount with a buck that I wanted to get mounted. So it was my first Euro mount, and I went and got your typical skull hooker mount to hang on the wall. Looks great. Love it, right? So I'm walking around. I see this booth that's got a bunch of Euro mounts hanging up in it, and it looks like they're just hanging off the wall. Like, I don't see anything they're hanging on. Like, there's no like metal hanger, nothing. And basically, this company called Wall Hangers, they have a clear plastic material that they use that you hang on the wall, right? And then your skull, the back of your skull, where where the spinal cord goes into where the brain would be, that little hole there slips over top of that, and it hangs it at a natural angle. And you don't see, it just looks like the skull is hanging, or just like floating on the wall there. You don't see anything. There's nothing else. So you really have to look to see the actual hanger, especially from a distance. There's no big metal. I mean, if you're into that, that's cool. If you like that look, that's cool. But like, this is like, it's tiny and it's only like $15, maybe $20, maybe $20. It's like $19.99 per hanger. And on display there, they had a 45-pound, Olympic weight hanging off of a string off of one of the hangers. So they're durable. They're lightweight, they're durable, and they're small. You can't see them on the wall. They are a great option to hang your skull mounts on. And I learned that the wife, guys, you know what I'm talking about. She's seen the Euro mount. She's like, I kind of like those. I'm like, I actually would let you hang those around the house. And what better way to do it than where it just looks like it's just the skull there. So definitely check that out. That's Wall Hangers. They do have a website. I will have that in the show description. But if you're looking for a good alternative or a good, mounting system for your Euro mounts, definitely check them out. Now, the last one that I've been here, I went there before. I've shot this event before, but it's Archery Hike down in Logan, Ohio. It's hosted out of the Lost Cabin. This is like Ohio's own TAC. The owner or the guy who runs it with his family, Justin Ross, is an amazing guy. Very humble, very knowledgeable. And the shoot is unlike anything I've ever done before. Now, it's not pushing your distance limits at like how TAC does with 126-yard shots. No. But last year when I went, so it was about a 2-mile, I think it was about a 2-mile trail, roughly, right? And it's in southern Ohio, which is hill country. You're in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains down there. I'm from Tuscarawas County. We have hills here. They have hills in southern Ohio. And you were walking these hills along a trail and you were shooting, different varying targets. It was a bit of a workout. It definitely challenged you physically. Not when I say challenge you physically, it's like, it's not, let's just put it this way. There's a couple ASA shooters that came to shoot it that left because it was a little bit more than they were expecting. Not because the shoot was bad. It was a little bit more physically demanding than they were expecting from like a typical ASA shoot. It was fun. It was good prep for going out west. And there's no score. You can keep score if you want to have a challenge with your buddies, but it was a good time. The atmosphere is great. It's not full vendors. Like it's a hidden gem. And this year, Justin's added a Sasquatch to this, and he's going to expand to where he's going to have 2 trails now, one Eastern, so you Eastern hunters, and one for you Western hunters. Or you can do both. And here's how this works. You buy a day pass, you can shoot as many times as you want. You can walk the trails as many times as you want that day. The day is yours. You can walk one trail and be done. You can walk both trails and be done. Or you can walk both trails multiple times. It's your day. It is your day. So Justin is going to be on the podcast. We're going to have an episode with him. But once again, a link is going to be in the show description. Please check this out. Justin's in it to build the community, improve the community, and give back to the community. So I really urge you, like if you are looking for a fun shoot here in Ohio, that's not labeled as an R100 or a TAC, which those are fun. Those are great shoots. Go check those out. Those are fun, right? But they're big names. If you want something that's going to challenge you, that's a little bit more low key, go check out Justin down there at Archery Hike. Once again, link's going to be in the show description. All right, everyone. Well, that is going to conclude this episode. Once again, this is my first time going to Open Season, the Sportsman Expo. It used to be called something else at some point in time. It was a blast. It was a great time. A lot of great people down there. Met a lot of nice people. Talked to a lot of great vendors and stuff. And just because I didn't highlight a vendor in here doesn't necessarily mean their product was bad. I wanted to highlight some of these that worked for me, right? That kind of sparked my interest. But if you've never been to Open Season, the Sportsman Expo, I'm sure they'll be back again next year. Today's their last day. I'm sure they'll be back next year. Get on there, get a pre-sale tickets, go down there. It's $10. Kids under 13, I think, get in for free. It was a good time, right? Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I know that I at least have a handful of the highlighted products that are going to be on the show at some, in the near future. We're going to be working out the details of those. And so I don't know exactly when they're going to air, but they are coming up. So if you'd like to hear more from them, please make sure you follow us on whatever podcasting host that you're listening to it now, whether it's Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or YouTube. If you haven't given us a review, make sure you please give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. If there's anything you'd like to hear different or something that we could do to improve, please let us know. I really do listen to feedback and try to improve on those. If you'd like to know more about Country Fried Outdoors, and not necessarily just the podcast, we do have Instagram, which is Country Fried Outdoors, spelled with a K. Or you can check us out on YouTube at Country Fried Outdoor Productions, once again spelled with a K. I do post videos here and there where I might do product reviews or just post some of our hunts on there, make productions out of some of the hunts. And, so you guys check it out. Check that out. Make sure you guys check out some of the highlighted or spotlighted products in today's episode. The links, once again, are going to be in the show description. So check these guys and gals out. They worked hard to come up with these products, and I'll be honest with you, there are some great products out there, and some newer companies that some people may not know about that have a great story, a great purpose, and definitely worth looking into. But until our paths cross again, as we chase our own experience, I hope you guys stay safe out there. And as always, God bless you.